not best for the United States, but what's best for Trump Organization or Trump Incorporated. Is he going to cut Oman a break because he's managing a $2 billion golf course there? Is he going to give India a break in terms of civil rights or human rights and the nuclear question because he's doing business with them? Same thing for Indonesia. It was interesting that Trump lawyers just filed a brief with the United States Supreme Court basically commenting that there's only been 2 people that didn't hold some sort of prior federal office before they became president. One was named George Washington, and the other was Donald Trump. And this is the problem you have when you elect somebody. Everybody wants to think that America is like a business and we should hire a businessman to run the business of America. America's not a business. It's a constitutional republic that has aspects of it in which it's an employer, in which it has money that gets spent for its operations, that it takes in tax revenue, if you will, and other forfeiture money, but it's not a business, right? It's a government for the people and by the people. And so we elected a guy who had no background, no understanding of the fundamentals of the levers of power that needed to be pulled or who he needed to put into positions in order to do that. Fealty to Donald Trump was all that mattered. And he didn't even understand the basics. Like he'd never seen Schoolhouse Rock to know how bills were passed or the 3 co-equal branches of government or the role of the executive branch and things like that. So the takeaway here on the hot take is when he went into office in 2016, he had already shed and or put on the shelf a number of international assets and or deals, which at least he still had some. But, and of course, he generated new commercial contacts for himself and his family, including Jared Kushner when he left office. But here, if he gets back in, this is something the American people need to consider. He has a growing, expanded international portfolio of new relationships, not where he just owns the building and pays his taxes to the governments of these countries, but where he's in bed with them financially under licensing deals, where he only gets the licensing deal and gets the payments under it, whether it's $5 million, $10 million, $100 million a year for managing golf course properties, if he's in good graces with the government of that country. Because in countries like Indonesia, India, and Oman, yes, they have some version of capitalism, but it's all through the front door of the government. You're in business with the government. If you're doing business in Saudi Arabia, you are in business with the Saudi Arabian government. They may call it their private investment fund, their PIF, but you're in bed with the sheikh. And same thing in these other countries. And that's different, right? That relationship that I'm describing here, I'd actually like him to just own the building in those countries and just have to pay the taxes to the taxing authority. Here, he's in bed with, and therefore has an incentive, if he ever gets reelected, to bend over for these relationships and influences, therefore, public and foreign policy decisions, because we can't believe he's clean because of who he is and because of other threats that he's made.